I'm going to continue on here with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm going to give you more proof. Actually, all the documents that I have gotten and all the research that I did, I feel almost like a lawyer presenting a case to show without a shadow of a doubt that the Watchtower Society has definitely lied, and they have lied on purpose. Now, one of the things that I did, because I wanted to find out who was responsible for writing this, translating the Greek from the Greek into the Watchtower's Kingdom Interlinear of the Greek Scriptures, because I wanted to find out, do these people know anything about translating, and what were their qualifications? Now, there was a court case in Scotland in 1954. And in that court case in 1954, what had happened is there was a gentleman who didn't want to go into the armed forces. So all the leaders, the big shots from the Watchtower Society, decided to go to this man's aid. And so they all went to Scotland and for the trial. Now, during the trial, it came out that the people who were responsible for translating this Greek interlinear perjured themselves on court, because they didn't know what was going to happen under cross-examination. But during the court, they said that they could read Hebrew and Greek, Portugal, and some other, and obviously Greek. But on cross-examination, when they were asked to translate some verses from the text, none of them can translate even one sentence. In other words, they were shown to be liars in court. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses don't know anything about, or most of the Jehovah's Witnesses don't know anything about this court case. And obviously that the Watchtower Society leaders are not going to tell them about it either. They don't want them to know who the people are who were responsible for this and what their qualifications were, because they didn't have any qualifications, and they were proven in court to have been lying, perjured themselves. So you can do what I did. I took the form, and when I read the scriptures, I knew that there was a special blessing, as we see from the book of Acts, where the people, the Christians in Berea, they searched the scriptures daily at what Paul was teaching, and they were blessed because of it. And so with that, I made sure that I checked everything that was being taught. And as a result, I ran into problems with the Watchtower Society, because everything that I was finding was the exact opposite of what they were saying, and who they were taking the information from. So here is, if you want to freeze the frame, this is the Scottish, I'm going to read it for you in case it doesn't come out. This is the Scottish Records Office, P.O. Box 36, HM, General Register House, Edinburgh, and you spell it Edinburgh, and then it's E, capital H, 1, 3YY, Scotland. That's the address that I wrote for information about the court case that took place. I wanted the transcripts for this. Now, there's two ways you can get the transcripts. One will be a microfiche like this, where you can actually read it like this, or you can get the complete in paper, which is, I believe, a little bit more money. Now, this case, the court case that I was looking for, it's the bursar's proof in Michael Douglas versus the Minister of Labor, National Service. And at the time that I went to get it in 1979, it says it runs to 7 bound volumes, 762 pages. I can offer you a positive microfilm copy of these volumes at a cost of, at that time it was 16.15 in their currencies in Scotland. So now, when you read the whole transcript of the 1954 case, you'll find out these are the men who translated the Bible. It says the men, and I put this up here, these are just for your information, the men who comprised the translation committee had according to these transcripts and under cross-examinations, none of them could translate anything, not even one sentence. So they didn't have any qualifications, background, college, or whatnot, to be able to discern how to translate the Bible. They were self-appointed scholars, and it was made up of the Translation Committee are H.N. Knorr, F.W. Franz, A.D. Schroeder, G.D. Genghis, and M. Herschel. Now, aside from President Franz, who went also to this court case, none of the other people had any Greek at all in college. Now, Fred Franz had 6 months, but he studied the type of Greek that the New Testament is not made of. In other words, he studied a different form of Greek, but it wasn't the type of Greek that the Bible was made up of in Greek. So, and not only that, he never even finished, and he wasn't able in the court stand to translate anything, not even one sentence. Now, for many Jehovah's Witnesses, they're going to think that this is all a lie, and all I can say is go and get the transcript, get the micros for yourself. And as you see right here, this is F.W. Franz. This is part of the testimony that they were cross-examining Franz. And now, one of the things we know for sure is the Bible now that they're holding in their hands is a fake. It's a fraud. The people who did the translation had no education, no background whatsoever. And when they translated it, they made it say anything that they wanted to say to keep their people separate from the people who study the real Bible, like the King James or any other Bible. All those Bibles that you read today, except one from Johannes Grieber, and I'm going to get into that in a second, all the Bibles in the world, if they're coming from a source that would be able to translate, state that John 1:1, Jesus is not a God, but he was God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, not a God. Just like the tape that you saw from Julius Manti, who said that they had distorted his work, they lied on purpose. Now, let me get into another person that I had to go and do some research on. This person is Johannes Grieber. He is an ex-priest. And Johannes Grieber translated the Bible from, I believe, German into Greek, or the Greek into English. He is an ex-pastor. And not only is an ex-pastor, but he is a spirit medium. And we know from the Bible, Jesus, or in the New Testament, his name is Jesus. In the Old Testament, it's Jehovah God. They're the same. And we know that the Bible tells us in Deuteronomy that you're not supposed to communicate with the dead, spirits. But yet, Johannes Grieber, an ex-priest, German priest, that's what he does. He's a spirit medium. And also his wife is a spirit medium. So, knowing this, that he is a spirit medium, this is a flyer that I obtained about Johannes Grieber. And you can see it right there, advertising the brochure, The Spirit World Guided. And in this information, it talks about Johannes Grieber and also his wife about being spirit medium. Let me quote on the bottom. It says, at times he was given the correct answers in large illuminating letters and words passing before his eyes. Other times it was given by correct answers during prayer meetings, and his wife, a medium of God's spirit world, often it was instrumental in conveying the correct answers from God's ministers to Pastor Grieber. So they were both spirit mediums. Now here's the major point. Here you have a spirit medium who we know from the Bible is direct contradictions of the Word of God, because nobody who's going to follow God is going to be a spirit wants to follow God correctly is not going to be a spirit medium. Now on the bottom here, there's I believe there's 6 different places where the Watchtower Society quotes Johannes Grieber to prove that John 1:1 is a God. That's the correct interpretation of it. So I'm going to put this up, and hopefully you can you'll be able to freeze the frame. And what I'll do is I'll take a picture of that. There you go. Freeze that frame. It's right there. Now these are all the different places where the Watchtower Society has in their books and in their writings how they teach the organization that this man is his work substantiates the proof and proves that the Watchtower Society is correct by interpreting John 1:1 as a God. And they're using a spirit medium. Now, here's one of the books that is on this list. It would be the last one under the Word. Under page 5, it says a God. Okay, you can hopefully you'll see that at the bottom. It says the Word. Now, here's the actual Watchtower Society booklet. You see it here, the Word, right? Pretty easy. And then in the bottom of it, I have a red. You see that right there, and they talk about Johannes Grieber, and they're using it. It says, let me go. It says, similar in a reading by former Roman Catholic priest, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a God. This was with God in the beginning. Everything came into existence through the Word, and without it nothing created sprang into existence. So they're quoting Johannes Grieber, and then they tell you where it is, and his name is right there in their own work. So the Watchtower Society is using someone who is actually communicating with Satan and these demon spirits, because anyone who deals with spirit mediums, they're not dealing with the spirits of God. You're dealing with spirits that the Lord said keep away from. Now, to further make my point and prove my point here, I want to give to you some more information, but I'm not going to have enough time to do it in this one section, so I'm going to stop this section and continue on with some documentation from the Watchtower Society that you need to see.